So you're gonna have to excuse the background noise in this video. The garbage truck is right outside my apartment, and, yeah, they're not leaving. They're like Marchand, Bennett, and Tavares, and Ekblad, and Brock Boeser. They're not effing leaving. Okay, yeah, Wolf of Wall Street references aside, don't worry, folks. I'm not that upset about it. Don't worry, it's all fine. I can edit it out and post anyway, or at least I can try to. But if I can't, I apologize. You're gonna have to bear with a few rumbles and grumbles in the background of this audio commentary. But in this video, I just wanted to talk about the good vibes. I wanted to talk about Vancouver. I wanted to talk about the Canucks because I saw a few things on social media, and I listened to a few of the latest Canucks-related hits on the radio, Sportsnet 650, and I just want to talk about the vibes. Let's start things out by talking about a tweet posted by Chris Kunt on Twitter from... when was this? It was 2 days ago. The more time passes, the more I'm relieved that Rick Tocchet quit. Fresh start ahead with a coach who actually wants to be in Vancouver. And that's a really simple tweet. I know it's something that Rick Tocchet, the guy himself, would vehemently disagree with. He spoke out through John Shannon that he was not a quitter. He's not a quitter. He didn't quit on the Vancouver Canucks, quote unquote. He just felt like there was a change of scenery needed and wanted to be back home. Yeah, no, he quit. He quit! Come on, man! Like, you can't say that you did anything else. That's exactly what Rick Tocchet did. And I understand, from the perspective of Tocchet as a head coach, why this guy would have wanted to leave Vancouver. Maybe the majority of that decision had to do with the fact that he wanted to be closer to home and he wanted to go to Philadelphia, and everybody was linking Tocchet to Philadelphia for months before he actually left for Philly. But I think just the season that was in 2023-2024 was so bad for everybody involved that Rick Tocchet's time in Vancouver ultimately came to an end long before he actually did decide to quit. The JT Miller-Elias Pettersson feud was bad. The Vancouver Canucks' performance on the ice was even worse. And when you think about just the vibes in the room at that time, it was very obvious that the Vancouver Canucks were not in a good spot for players and people in the organization to feel good about the product on the ice, and good about the vibes off the ice too. I mean, the JT Miller and Elias Pettersson situation seemed to have taken over the locker room, and that is absolutely one of the worst spots to be at, where two of your top players are feuding and they're both underperforming, and the coach and the captain are trying to pull these guys back together and try to calm things down with the media. It was a total colossal mess of a season for the Vancouver Canucks, and I can understand from Tocchet's perspective if that's the experience that he had, and he was the guy who was forced to try to make everything right. I can understand if he's like, yeah, no, sorry, I don't want any part of this anymore. This job is traumatizing. I don't want to have to deal with these guys anymore. I'm done with Petey. I'm done with this situation. They traded away Miller, the guy that I wanted to stay more, and now I'm going to lead off to Philadelphia because I have more control there. That, if you had told me that is the mindset that Rick Tocchet had as he left Vancouver and headed over to Philly, that would make sense. It would make a total sense for him to want to leave. But the fact is now, Vancouver has not only a coaching staff of guys who want to be here, but with the vibes of Brock Boeser coming back, when all odds were against it. We didn't think this was going to be possible, but it was. He re-signs in Vancouver. Garland re-signs in Vancouver to a contract that I would argue is very good value. Thatcher Demko re-signs in Vancouver. Admittedly to a deal that doesn't have the same value, but you have all these guys deciding to come back all together, and they're convincing each other. Garland was saying to Brock, you know, just give it some time. Vancouver will circle back. It'll get done. Re-sign, re-sign, re-sign. Demko posts on Instagram, oh, sweet Jesus, thank you for Brock coming back. Like, these guys are all so tight, and they all wanted to be here. Never mind the fact that you can talk about ceiling. You can talk about, oh, Demko, Garland, and Boeser re-signed. They're great. But look at Florida. Bennett, Marchand, and Ekblad re-signed. Those guys are better. Like, you can say with rationality that the accomplishments of the guys in Florida, for example, are better than the guys in Vancouver, and you can say that Vancouver is re-signing guys who haven't won anything, and they haven't had the success of some of the other players around the league, and there are folks that are kind of pissed off with the fact that Vancouver is just running it back with the same core. But as we had said earlier, I mean, a lot of teams around the National Hockey League have kept their guys. A lot of teams have money now, which makes it a lot more difficult for teams to shake things up or try to trade players away and get some meaningful assets in return. It's just a lot more of a stationary market compared to what we're used to seeing as fans. And so now, I wanted to turn your attention to this post made on the Canucks subreddit that was written out by Captain Positivity. It talks about how the Vancouver Canucks are going to be a vibe this season. Does anyone else think that yesterday, July 1st, could be a turning point for our team? I think the boys have finally assembled a team mentality. Despite what folks on Twitter think, it's clear the players want to be here and think that we have something special cooking here. Demko alone said I would sign for 20 years if I could. As it stands right now, we are going into the new season with Abbotsford having won the Cup, likely resulting in the promotion of a few prospects, a new-ish coach that the players all seem to love, 3 good and healthy goalies, the best D-core the Canucks have had in over a decade, and a forward group that may not score to the peaks we have seen before, but certainly has some quality upside throughout, with a few players due for bounce-backs, and the addition of Kane who brings goals, speed, and that villain energy that we have desperately needed. Unlike years past, it feels like there is no baggage heading into this year. This team could be a vibe. Now, I don't think necessarily that there was baggage heading into last year. I think the only big thing was that Elias Pettersson was still underperforming and that he wasn't himself, but things quickly took a turn for the worse because a lot of fans were expecting the world. Oh, Artur Shilovs came into the playoffs and he was fantastic. Oh, JT Miller had 100 points. Oh, Pettersson fell off, but he needs to be better and he had a summer to train. Oh, Boeser was so good. Oh, everybody's so amazing. And they added these guys like DeBrusk and Desharnais and Danton Heinen and all the Ds ended up coming to Vancouver. But after that first game against the Calgary Flames where everything fell apart and the Canucks choked it after having a multi-goal lead, that is, I think, the biggest tone setter that the Vancouver Canucks had for the rest of the year. And I'm not saying that that's not possible for this Canucks team this year. It's possible that they play their first game of the year and they totally blow it as well. That's possible, right? But ultimately, a lot of the baggage from last season seems to have been shedded off. And the players, you think about the guys that are choosing to be on the Vancouver Canucks, the coach that chooses to be on the Vancouver Canucks, you're seeing guys express so much positivity with staying in Vancouver. And Quinn Hughes is at the subconscious core of all of these decisions because everything that's being done now is seemingly being done to, firstly, keep the guys who want to be here around, but secondly, keep the guys that Quinn Hughes wants to be here around. So, I don't know, man. Vibes are good in Vancouver. And I know there are still some that'll say that it's not good that they're running it back with the same group of guys. They should have traded somebody away. They could have traded Garland. They could have done what the Islanders did with Dobson. I think that's a fair point. I just don't know if the market would have been so kind to Vancouver in the same way that it was for the Noah Dobson Islanders situation. Dobson wanted to go to Montreal. That guy wanted out. There was a big reason that the Islanders traded him away. If you're talking about Garland, this guy did not want to leave. He absolutely wanted to stay in Vancouver, and that's why he had signed that 6-year deal. It's hard to move away from players that so adamantly want to be there, and that's what we had seen with the Brock Boeser signing as well. So with all this in mind, I want you to let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. How do you feel about the vibes, baby? The Vancouver Canucks of 2025's offseason. Feels good, right? Especially with no more Tocchet and Miller. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.